After a huge debate surrounding the viability of Stadia, post an Xcloud/Gamepass bundle announcement, we conducted a study. This study highlights some major misconceptions on cloud gaming, and due to this, it shows why Xcloud versus Stadia talk right now is simply what? Foolish. Let's get into it.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of the Stadia Corner, sponsored by Stadia Dosage and also broadbandbullies.com. Definitely check out the content that we have there. All right, let's get into it, y'all. So this announcement. It's an announcement of Gamepass Ultimate now bundling in Xcloud and the overhype behind it and why people that don't know what they're talking about are the main ones talking about this. But we're going to put an end to all that today, all right? But let's first dig into the announcement. So leading up to July 16th, 2020, as most of us should already know, there was a lot of hype built up regarding the Xbox announcement. And then this announcement finally happened on June 16th. The headline of it happened to be that Microsoft was officially bundling in Xcloud with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate at $15 a month USD. Now, in response, mainstream media was abuzz. For the most part on social media, content creators and pundits associated this to Stadia's demise, all right? And this belief was based off the notion that Game Pass bundled with Xcloud gives gamers the cheapest option to play, therefore it is the best all-around option. That sounds spot on, right? Or rather, could this just be more of the proverbial water cooler, Stadia is about to die talk that we've heard since launch? Well, I'm here to tell you that research heavily favors the latter. So let's look at the history here. Now, there are origins of this. This is not new. For full transparency, we were quite involved in one of the attempts to take this beyond the water cooler talk and make this into fruition. Now I want to show you guys something right here. Here, bear with me. Just to show you that this ain't just a typical MM2K I love Stadia rant. I'm letting you know where this came from. Now, this is an article from Windows Central where they basically said Xbox basically buried Google Stadia with the latest Xcloud update, Projekt Xcloud update. And the sub-headline is, today a slew of Projekt Xcloud editions threaten to rip Google Stadia off its, reason to exist. And at the core of it was the fact that Destiny 2 was on there. That was at the core. Now, you may not be able to see this in the small print, but this article came out to the public January 21st, 2020. By then, that had been debunked because for the simple fact that Destiny 2 was no longer a fan favorite by the Stadia masses. Still was being played, by an amount of people, but people had moved on to Borderlands 3 that was on the platform, Darksiders Genesis, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They were done with Destiny. And Destiny, to this date, people still try to make the false equivalency, but to this date, again, it's a niche product. It does have a lot of followers, but everybody's not into it, and it is not even of the top 4 games on the platform today. But just to show you that there are origins to this, yes, sites such as Windows Central were putting out stuff like that, all right? So I'm not all crazy. Now, with that being said, articles like that were coming out, despite the fact that Destiny 2's version of Xcloud, beyond what I just said, Destiny 2's version of Xcloud was giving players a version that performed worse, looked worse, was heavily scaled down, lacked the content that came at no extra cost to early adopters of the Stadia version at the time, and at the time, again, of that Windows Central article, Destiny 2 was no longer the overwhelming favorite on the platform. Period. But just some simple due diligence would have brought this out. Why wasn't no due diligence done? Well, we'll get into that later. Despite all that, Gamers outside of the cloud gaming community began to believe this mantra. It is when we, via the Stadia Dosage platform, stepped in and highlighted all that was misconceived of that article. Immediately thereafter, you saw a huge shift in the false attacks on Stadia. Major voices in the anti-Stadia community shifted their grievances. They moved to the game library, exclusives and price model, it sucks and all that stuff as their main issue, opposed to the now recognized superior performance. They could no longer lie about that because they were exposed. So they just shifted to something more trivial, all right? And highlighted and bloated that. Something more superficial. So again, the death to Stadia rhetoric is not new. What also is not new, though, is it being debunked. So now on to the study. Now, on the heels of the mainstream gaming media seemingly overhyping additions/changes to Xcloud, as we just seen, we've come across data to the contrary. Data suggests that Xcloud's inclusion of Gamepass, or vice versa, however you want to align it, is not enough to raise serious engagement with the true cloud gaming demographic, which is currently Stadia's demographic for the first 12 months during the early access period. Now, to better understand what is meant by that, you have to understand this demographic. Cloud gamers are ones who want to access all the same games/experiences dedicated device gamers, PC and consoles, want or have as well. They just want it via platforms that are inexpensive, provide comparable performance to dedicated devices, or on as many different types of screens as possible, with less friction, quote, loading, active patches to wait through, etc., and as much convenience/portability as possible. See, the common misconception is that cloud gamers simply want to play on portable devices, phones and tablets, as an auxiliary to hardware, and they just want the portable experience to be smooth enough. This couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth, but these people, it just won't soak in. They just won't realize it. They're stuck in their own bubble. Now, to illustrate this, we conducted a study across social media, and the results are staggering. This study was done with gamers on the major cloud gaming social media hubs, particularly Reddit, for Stadia, GFN, and Shadow PC, and it also was done on Twitter, and the culmination of all of them had over 1,000 total engagements. Now, as you can see, as you're going to be able to see, an overwhelming majority of cloud gamers polled prefer to do their cloud gaming via a TV, PC, or laptop, and only 11% prefer phones or tablets. So let's go directly to this chart here so you can see what I mean. So you can believe I'm not making this stuff up. And just an example, this is the full chart right here as we put all the data together. As you can see there in the green, 48% prefer laptops and PCs. As you can see in the red, 41% prefer TVs. As you can see in the blue, 11%, only 11% that is, prefer phones and tablets. And just to show you, I'm not making this up. These are the actual Reddits for those individual groups. This is, and actually the numbers are higher now from when I collected them. I just said, the data's already done, baby. But as you can see right here, this is the poll for the Stadia group. They prefer TVs, you know what I mean? This is the poll for the GFN group. They heavily prefer laptop and PCs. And this is the poll for the Shadow PC group. They heavily prefer PCs and laptops as well, just like the GFN group. All right. And so last but not least, here is the poll that was sent out on Twitter. And on Twitter, the overwhelming majority prefer TVs. But each poll that you look at who is consistently, low. And that is phones and tablets. The only place where they come in second is with Shadow, and that's above TVs. But nowhere on any poll is phone a heavy favorite, or is it even close? So therefore, when we calculated all the numbers, it led to this again. 48% prefer PC and laptops, 41% prefer TVs, only 11% prefer phones and tablets, all right? So with those staggering numbers, all right, we then got to ask ourselves, well, why do we go through all this? Why is this important, MM2K? Well, it's important because Xcloud currently is only playable on phones and tablets. Hold on, what? Let's go back to it. Hold on. Whoa, hold the horses. You're telling me that Xcloud, the Stadia killer, is only playable on phones and tablets, only where 11% of cloud gamers want a game? What? And again, let me show you. I'm not making these numbers up. These are all coming from reputable sources, the places where these people go and talk. And we got a sample pool of 1,000, which is the sample pool used for when people are doing political debates and polls and stuff like that after political debates. So I don't want to hear that trash. The proof is in the pudding. So you're telling me that the Stadia killer is only available on 11% of the screens where people want to play that are cloud gamers and of the cloud gaming community. What? But I digress. Let's continue on. Again, it is important, those numbers, because Xcloud is only playable on phones and tablets. It's also only available at 720p and 30 frames per second for most of its titles. Now, according to a recent talk with Phil Spencer, we may not even see Xcloud available on more screens for a while. In addition to that, according to info obtained by Tom Warren of The Verge, we may not see comparable performance to GFN Shadow PC, let alone Stadia, just as long. So therefore, those offerings fall very short of the expectations from the cloud gaming demographic, as you can see. Then why the mass claims that Xcloud is in position to knock out Stadia, or anybody at that, that's a pillar in the cloud gaming community, who is in Stadia, who is arguably a leader within the cloud gaming community? Well, the answer is simple, people. The answer is simply this. Now on to the synopsis. The answer is simply the mainstream media as we speak is totally, and I mean totally, disconnected from the cloud gaming community. And I get it. The mainstream media is comprised of daddy device gamers who see no appeal to gaming away from their machines. You may be one of them that's listening to this. They may show sympathy towards an add-on service that allows you to do so. They may also talk about, well, in the future, in regards to cloud's potential dominance, but as long as it doesn't threaten their machines in the here and the now, they're okay with it. Stadia at its core bucks that convention. That's at the heart of the loathing. Now, they'll tell you it was the launch or the rollout or whatever, but I got the receipts, and a lot of you got the receipts, and a lot of you heard them. There is hard proof to the contrary. As soon as people discover that A, it was solely cloud, there was going to be no dedicated device behind it, and B, it's not a subscription-based model to serve only as a supplement to dedicated device gaming, the gloves were off. Therefore, if you're a cloud gamer already, or you are looking to become one of us within the gaming community due to cost restraints or convenience, etc., you simply cannot go to the mainstream gaming media today or anytime in the near future, I warn you, to be informed. For the sake of hashtag being in the know, as we always throw around here, we highly recommend a few sources that might better suit your fact building on cloud gaming, all right? Now, source number one, of course, is us. You know what I'm saying? You know, come to Broadband Bullies, baby. Come to Broadband Bullies. I'm gonna show you another place. Let's take a look at just a couple of these places. There's a lot of them, but just a couple of places that come to the top of my head. This right here, my friends, is StadiaSource.com for all of your Stadia news. Now, they primarily talk about Stadia, but they also talk about cloud gaming. Anything that is going to affect Stadia, they will talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to go there. And if you're looking into cloud gaming, I highly recommend Stadia. But if you just want to know the ins and outs of how Stadia works or how cloud gaming works, or what's the progress with cloud gaming, I seriously urge you to go and look at StadiaSource.com. All right. Now, another place that I highly recommend. All right. It's a newer platform, but it's still a great platform. It's one that's hosted by my good friend Duncan, that formerly was of StadiaSource.com, and it's called Cloudy with a Chance of Games. They highlight all of cloud gaming news. They said that they are the number one source of cloud gaming news, reviews, and views. So definitely check them out. They talk about everything cloud gaming. Xcloud coming in September and is part of Gamepass. They talk about everything in regards to cloud gaming. So even if you're not like, I don't want to deal with Stadia so much, I want to see what else is going on in cloud gaming, then this is a great source to go to, because they look at everything. They check out everything, okay? And there's other great sources out there too. I don't want to forget anybody, but just to start you off, those are two great sources in addition to us, of course. You know what I mean? So now, again, all great sources, and just keep looking, y'all, because there's plenty more, like I said earlier. That said, people may attempt to dismiss this article, this vlog right here, as an anti-Xbox article meant to bring down the platform. And that's bullpucky. The farthest thing from the truth. Personally, I want the competition, even as a Stadia fan, as a Stadia enthusiast. It'll be good for cloud gaming. If Microsoft can provide a high-performing cloud platform that does include Game Pass, I think that'll be phenomenal. The issue is from a tech standpoint, first and foremost for me. If everyone praises Xcloud in its current state, which is the lowest common denominator, as the pinnacle of cloud gaming, that devolves the aspirations / motivations of what cloud tech is truly capable of. It makes cloud gaming simply about loading your phone or tablet with a bunch of mediocre performing games. And even in its infancy, with GFN, Shadow, and Stadia, cloud gaming is well beyond that threshold. It can buck up against dedicated devices, whether you want to believe it or not. And Stadia can hold its own against dedicated devices without tethering itself to a box. Period. So, with that being the case, being that they're able to do that now, we gain nothing, and I mean nothing, in the long run from holding this technology back, because it is truly amazing. And with that said, that's it from your boy MM2K. And let me know what you think about what I had to say in the comment section below, either in this video or on the website, because we will have this posted to the website. Just let me know what you think, because like I always say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. Those links will lead you to the Broadband Bullies, of course. Go to broadbandbullies.com, PNTS Network, can't forget my brethren there, and the Hard Knock Digital Culture, along with the Stadia Dosage. And with that said, now that y'all are in the know, hey, look, hopefully it does get better, but we got to look. All things indicate it's going to take a while. So let's not put up false equivalencies. And again, you got to understand that the mainstream media, as nice as they sound and, as wordy as they can be, as appealing their voices over the mic, you know what I'm saying, as articulate they can be, they are disconnected from the reality here, period. And with that said, you all have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.